Hey y'all, we got a good one today. Welcome back to Ray of All Trades. I'm going to show you how to change out an alternator and how to diagnose it. So there's my regular ignition. You notice the battery light stays on. I don't know if you hear the whirring noise in the background, but that's a telltale, and it's kind of plays important to this. So battery light's on, right? Basically sits at 14 volts and won't come down. There's a whirring noise coming from the alternator right here. Alright, so the car's been running for the length of time that y'all saw me start it, and I shut it off immediately. So look at my thermal imager. Let's see, if I put it so that the dot is on the alternator, it's 84.3 Celsius. And the whole rest of the motor, well, that's plastic, but let's just go to the motor. 42 Celsius. So that alternator is just getting screaming hot, and it literally ran for less than a minute. So I just want to cover what's actually occurring here. An alternator is supposed to put out roughly 13.5 volts. Hey, 14 should be good, right? Well, when a car first starts, an alternator will go into what's called full field, basically putting out its maximum current and voltage. Like I said, I had a whirring noise, I had the battery indicator, and to most people, that voltage would be perfectly fine. It's putting out 14 volts, it's charging a battery. Battery needs a service, but honestly, it cranks the car very well. So I'm going to do a service at the same time. But the fact that that alternator got that hot in that period of time, and it's making that whirring noise, tells me that we need to change out this alternator. So let's get this alternator changed out. First thing is disconnect the battery. Yeah, that battery needs a service. There's no question there. And that will cause your alternator to do something funny like that, but I know that alternator is bad. So I disconnect the negative because as of right now, this is the positive lead. And with the negative lead disconnected, I can touch anything metal and my circuit is disconnected. So the next thing is make sure that you know how this belt routes before you take it loose. I've seen so many people take it apart and not be able to put it back together. Anyway, 14 millimeter socket. You could also do a wrench. It needs to be a shallow well. And all you want to do is give yourself as much room as you can. We're going to pull this up, and that's going to relieve tension off the belt. And then we can just slide the belt off. Just like that. Let's take it off the alternator too. All right, that's free, and then you got to pull this back out your way so you got room to work. By the way, this power steering reservoir, if it gets in your way, just slides right up out of the pocket. All right, next thing, if you can reach them, you can do this now. If you can't reach them, you might have to loosen up your alternator to get it first. Grab a 12 millimeter deep socket. You can probably get a regular ratchet on there, a shallow well. Might have to get an extension on this just so I can get leverage. So 12 millimeter for the main feed. For you guys, if you used an extension, you might have been able to get that a little bit easier than I just did. And this should lift right off. We're going to want this wire out of our way. So just push down on that tab right there and slide it out. And then we're going to need to disconnect the sensing wires, which are back here. Just slide this boot out the way. Okay, 2 tabs on this, squeeze on this back side and on the front side. You may have to push the connector in to squeeze them two, and then just wiggle it out. So there's one on each side. Actually, I take that back. There was only one connector. I apologize. So squeeze that tab, and then just wiggles right out. Pull it up out your way. And then we got a 12 millimeter bolt right here. And then to reach this next one, we're going to give ourselves a little bit of room to work. So just pull that belt up out of the way. Like I said, this right here, power steering pump reserve, it just slides onto this bracket. Slides onto that bracket right there. See how it slides on? So you can just push it out of the way. Now we're trying to get to the bolt that's down in here. So wiggle the 14 millimeter socket, not 12, right on there. At that point, I believe the alternator is free. Let's see if we can wrestle it out of here. So power steering reservoir, try to pull it out the way. I'm hoping I don't have to take out this fan, but it might be necessary. Yeah, there's no way for me to get this out of here without taking out this radiator fan. So my air conditioner line's in the way, my power steering line's in the way. If I move this fan out of the way, I should be able to get it a little bit easier. All right, let's disconnect the electric from the fans. You're gonna have to disconnect the hold down for the wire. Just like that. Okay, so we got to get the rest of that fan disconnected, and I want to make it perfectly clear that you do not have to do this step. There's a hole right through here that you can stick your arm through, and you can reach the 10 millimeter bolt that's right here. Okay, I'm only doing this so you guys can see it, see what it looks like. It's a single bolt holding the bottom of that fan in. Get in here so we can see it. Right here where my finger's at, there's a 10 millimeter bolt. That's the bottom of the fan. And like I said, you can reach that through that other hole that I was talking about. We go through the hole that we were just talking about. This screw right here. You'll see that. That screw is the one that I pulled out, and I went through the same hole that we were just talking about, and you can feel for that, and that should allow that entire fan to come loose. So I'll show you up top what it looks like. There's two fans here, right? So this one fan right here, you want to be careful that you don't hit the radiator with it. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you guys down, because what I'm scared of is, since the alternator's already loose, the alternator's going to fall and hit the radiator as I'm pulling this out. So give me just a second. Oops, I have one more connector, I just realized. There's one more connector right down here. So fan comes out, alternator comes out. You'll see that any better? Anyway, so the alternator fits into this bracket right here and tightens up on this bracket right here. This wire right here is the one that that I had to pull off last. So I just pulled in on this clip right here, and that let me pull this up off of here. Anyway, let's get the new alternator put on. All right, once you compare the new and the old alternator, make sure that you got the right one. So on mine, this bushing right here is sticking in a little bit too far for me to grab it, so I just need to tap that back out of the way. So the bushing's kind of moved out of the way. And do not let go of that alternator until you have at least one bolt in this thing. Okay, as soon as you have a couple of bolts started, then you can let go and regroup. So all we want to do is tighten up those two bolts, put our fan belt back on, and then put the rest of this back together. Let's put that extension on and tighten it up. $14 mil on the bottom, 12 mil on the top. Get my control wire hooked up. Let's get this slid in place. Start getting that belt fish back in place. Okay, I got it in place. So the belt goes over this pulley, down to around this pulley, back over to the crankshaft pulley, which is way back there, which I'm noticing that it's not quite on there. Okay. Then around the bottom of the crankshaft pulley, around the air conditioning compressor, up around the idler, back around the idler, around the alternator, and then back up. Give me just a second. There, how's that? It's supposed to look like that. I'm gonna hold the belt, give it, release the tensioner, wrap it on there. And before I take the tensioner away, I need to make sure that everything is still wrapped around all the pulleys the right direction. Like I'm not skipping any ribs or anything like that. All right, so that one's good, this one's good, this one's good, that one's good. And that one is not quite centered. It's around the air conditioner is good, but the bottom idler is not quite centered. So I'm just gonna take away a little pressure and push that belt on. There we go. And then that's back in place. Don't forget to put your power steering pump back together. Power steering reservoir, not pump. Let me get you a better shot of that bolt. Where that bolt goes, that we had to take out, goes right in there. And the hole that your arm goes through is right there. Like I said, you don't have to take that bottom shroud off. You can feel for it and put it back in. I really wanted to show you guys where it was. I don't know, I hope it was worth the effort. Hope it helps somebody anyway. It looks like that bolt, I can have it mostly in. I'll show you why here in just a second. So the bottom of this fan, it's got a groove like that. So basically the bolt can be mostly in. We're just gonna drop it in place. So let's put the fan back in. Don't forget to attach that one wire that was up here on the side. So that one wire that I'm talking about is right there, and it attaches down in that bracket right there. Let's get the rest of the wires hooked up while we still can. There we go. And this one snaps up on here. All right, I'm gonna tighten up those 3 bolts and put that plastic back on, and let's give this thing a try. Alright, so those two are tight. I put the bottom one on. I'm going to do a battery service, but the thing is, I don't want anybody to come back and say, no, it wasn't the alternator, it was whatever. So we're going to put this back on exactly the way it was. Get my meter ready. And let's start it up, see if the light's out first off. The dash light, let's see if that's off. And then we're going to come and check the battery voltage. Okay, a moment of truth. Nope, no battery light. That's a really good start. She's running a little bit high right now. Let's give it a chance to charge up. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but she is not making that whirring noise anymore. Let's check at the temperature. Let's see. 38, 46. It's been running quite a bit longer too. 46 degrees. Heck, the motor's already 52. But the alternator itself is staying nice and cool, and it's not making that whirring noise. I think we're going to call this one a win. Hope y'all got something out of it. 3.2 VTEC Acura alternator swap. A little more complicated than the Honda, but not too bad. Hope y'all got something out of the video. Really appreciate you hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one.